Yo, what's happening? XG Files, Stay, Dre. Where's Ronnie?
I think he's in London. Last time I checked. Last time I tracked him on the tracker that I attached to him. I haven't done that. He's with Mr. Henry Winter, isn't he?
He is, yeah. Only. Is he a sir? He's not a sir.
He's not, but he's pretty good right.
These people have been made sir for less.
Is David Beckham a sir?
No, I don't think so. Unless he just got one.
He'll get one soon, surely.
I mean, he's basically on a one-man mission.
He gets invited to all that royal stuff, doesn't he?
And he never gives an offensive opinion.
Well, that's the thing. It's weird, isn't it? Because he's like, when you think of ex-United players, I mean, it's like ex-footballers, Beckham's one that stands out that you just think, I wonder what he thinks on that. You have no idea, because he never says anything.
Everyone's great. Everyone works dead hard.
But yeah, no, he's doing some work experience, isn't he, with Henry Winter?
What's in that glass?
In this glass is lychee.
Right, let you off, because if you were going to say tap water, I'd have been like, yeah, it looks like it. What the hell is going on there?
Can you see the cloud? Janine gave me upstairs. Apparently, just there was loads of lychee cans that had expanded, and you were going to chuck them out. So I took one. It's quite nice.
Is it though?
It is, yeah, because I've had it before, but that's sparkling. The one I had wasn't sparkling, and that tastes way better.
Yeah, Bex doesn't really ever give you a strong opinion. You got a Roy Keane for your strong opinions, don't you?
Or Gary Neville, or Jamie Carragher. But it's weird, isn't it? Because not many footballers take that route. Because what they either do is they either get into they're in the limelight, but they give their opinion, or they kind of just go away. But Beckham stayed in the limelight, but he's just gone a completely different route. But he's still involved in football.
Well, yeah, because he's a club owner.
Exactly.
So as a club owner, you can never be like he was never going to do it anyway because it's not his style. But he was never going to come and criticise the Glazers, ever. No. Like, forget about that. Like, can you imagine David Beckham being like, "Well, I'm never going to run my club the way they do." Even like a snide comment like that, it's just not in him, is it? He's not. No. He's not about that. He's never going to criticise a fellow professional. When you think about his brand, when they played that Legends game, you don't get Beckham at Legends games. You get almost like a second tier kind of player playing at Legends games. You don't get David Beckham at Legends games. So he agrees to play in the Legends game against Bayern Munich at Old Trafford. He trains for months. He's like hiring stadiums and loads of fucking like his son's mates to come and put him through 90 minutes. He treated that like a training camp because his brand needed him to be great when he played. And you know what? He was great.
Yeah.
Playing against all of his old teammates, he was a step above. Because that's what his brand dictates. This is what people forget about Beckham is, yes, he was this Brill Cream, Adidas, police sunglasses advert, right? But it was predicated on the fact he was unfucking real as a footballer. And that's the most important part of it. It's not about my wife's a pop star and this, that, and the other. It was about, I'm absolutely shit hot at my job.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, I'm 24, so I kind of, when I think back on Beckham, I just remember him at the end of his career, like properly. So I remember him playing for United, but I was a kid, so I don't actually remember like being like, oh, he's a great player because of this. But like, I've got loads of mates who aren't United fans who are like, oh yeah, Beckham wasn't world class, and I'm like, well, first of all, you're the same age as me, so you don't fucking know, because all you remember is him playing for PSG, probably playing like 4 games in one season.
Or MLS, maybe.
Yeah, well, no, but who watches MLS? Well, exactly. And then, like, second thing, it's like, well, you're just thinking, because he's now, like, a celeb, and he was, like, he wasn't one of the first football celebs, it's like George Best and stuff, but because he's one of these first modern-day superstar celebs, he wasn't that good at football, and that's why he's famous. Whenever I speak to any United fan, my dad is like, Beckham was, like, world-class.
Unbelievable. Best player in the world in 1999. That's it. There's no even arguments about it. It was when United won everything, David Beckham was the best player in our team. Most effective player in our team. Yes, it was about Roy Keane. Yes, it was about Jaap Stam. Yes, it was about Dwight York's goals. Yes, it was about Ryan Giggs' runs. Yes, it was about the partnership that Andy Cole had with Dwight York. Yes, it was about all of the supporting class like Solskjaer and Sheringham and Nicky Butt and even Phil Neville. Yes, it was about all of these people. Yes, it was about Peter Schmeichel, and that is why he didn't win the Ballon d'Or, because the people who saw what United did was like, Roy Keane for me gets my vote.
Yeah,
World Player of the Year, Roy Keane. And other people was like, Dwight York's European Golden Boot, he gets my play. And it was a great team that all did its job, but for me, David Beckham just stood out above everyone because for me, there's a few markers of greatness, and I'm going to repeat it myself for people who watch every video I do. Like, I'm sorry, but it's one of those. David Beckham and greatness. Great players are judged for me on their biggest moments and then their consistency. And if you can consistently perform at the biggest moments and the biggest stages, the pivotal moments of the season, list them. The FA Cup semi-final against Arsenal. Yes, Ryan Giggs scores the most memorable FA Cup final goal. In the first half, David Beckham scores a great goal.
Was that the one when he hit it across goal?
Yeah, it's just gone straight into the left-hand side.
Goal. Just got overshadowed by a better one, didn't it?
Yeah, Roy Keane's performance in Turin. All right, yeah, cool. You'll remember the header he scores at the near post. Who put the ball in? Thank you. You have Dwight York scoring a couple of goals against Inter Milan at home. Who put the ball in for those goals? David Beckham. The final. We don't have 1999 without the crosses that are going in.
Didn't he play midfield in that game?
Yeah, he was pretty ordinary, to be honest. But the whole team was shit in the grand scheme of things. But he was still there in the moments. There was free kicks right away throughout the season. There was a free kick against Barcelona. There's the through balls. I think I could be wrong on this one, but I think there might be a chance that the little shimmy that York and Cole do with the 1-2, he might play that first ball. If it's not him, it's Scholes. But his performance versus the World Player of the Year that year in Rivaldo, when you look at both of what they did in those two 90-minute games against United against Barcelona, you tell me who's the better player out of those. Just those two. Just watch those two. The impact that they have in those games, and tell me who the better player was. And the free kick against them, he was absolutely sensational. And it wasn't by miles. He was better than everybody else at United. But for me, he just had his head above the parapet of a great, great side.
All season.
Yeah, and it was from he played Wimbledon or Leicester or someone, first game of the season. I think he scored a free kick. And from there, it's as you fucking were. And you got to remember this is coming off unreal abuse. Like, the front pages of newspapers are showing effigies of David Beckham hung from pubs. Think about that. Think about that with a 2020 view. Yeah, 24 years ago, fucked. There was hanging, models of David Beckham outside pubs. Think about that on the front page of newspapers. The front page of the Daily Mirror was a dartboard with his face in the centre of it. Think about the mental state that you would be coming into now. Our players cry if they have to fucking come home and the fucking sun's gone down.
Well, that'll be another reason why people probably don't think he's world class, because it's English fans who secretly just hate him for what happened in that World Cup.
Yeah.
That's probably another thing.
Never got over that part. Yeah.
No, but that is interesting though, because you're right. I think what separates
Spurs in the final game of the season that we had to win to win the league.
Big moments are what separate the top players from the top players. 100%. That's why Ronaldo is arguably the best player of all time, because
clutch.
But it's just think about how many big moments. And even this season, in a shit United team,
turning up in the big moments is what makes them big players. Like David Beckham in a big game. I mean, think of some of the moments. Think about taking a penalty for England against Argentina 4 years after the World Cup, after everything you've been through. Think about the goal against Greece.
Well, there you go.
What the fuck? I think you missed about 6 free kicks in the game as well. And then it's injury time. You need to stick this in the top bins or we ain't going to the World Cup.
No pressure.
It's like, don't fucking worry about it. Watch this shit. Fucking bosh.
Skadoosh, yeah.
What a fucking player.
Yeah,
What a fucking player.
Shame I just missed it, eh?
Yeah. Anyway, why don't United sign anyone? Why are we just fucking interested, FC? What's going on?
Well, I think there's two ways you can look at this. There's one way is you can look at it long term. I think this is what a lot of people want this to be. And that is that we've been shit for a while now. There's clearly 2 other clubs in the Northwest who are a bit more tempting to sign for.
Everton.
Everton and Burnley.
And Fleetwood.
Exactly. But obviously City and Liverpool have just signed Haaland and Darwin Núñez, quick. And people are going, why haven't United got Frenkie De Jong over the line or whatever? Now, people want this to be the demise of the club. Why would you want to sign for United? Blah, 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 blah. It's crap, blah, 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 blah. Look at the squad. Another rebuild. And it's true, but a lot of it is also, in my opinion, just the fact that we just haven't signed anyone yet. The transfer window's been open a few days.
I don't like the excuse of it's been open a few days. Like City didn't sort Haaland out 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like when they signed him, they announced it at the time, and then they re-announced it when the window opened. We did the admin bit. Like, You signed him. You agreed to all the shit that you had to agree. So, sorted.
I know. But it's weird because what worries me is that we thought that this season now, the start of this season, we're going to have Ranić on board somewhere upstairs, Paul Mitchell. Then these guys are going to actually like make some long-term, well-thought-out decisions. But where is Ranić? Where is Paul Mitchell? Looks like the club haven't even sorted this out yet.
Well, Mitchell's extended his deal with Monaco, so
that's just not happening.
I don't think Mitchell's happy.
It's just, but then like, what's going on upstairs?
And obviously Ralph Rangnick looks well happy at Austria, doesn't he?
Yeah. Wow. Didn't he win his first game?
I think he's done all right with them, yeah. I haven't watched. All I've seen of international football is the lowlights of Harry Maguire.
What, and just England highlights and stuff? I haven't seen any of the England stuff. I've just seen the goals against them in most games. What was that? But yeah, I just think that people are overreacting, but they also have a point because Man United clearly is not an attractive club to sign for right now. Or is it?
Is that
because
the
of the
reason,
new manager?
Or is it Liverpool and Manchester City have had people in place for 6 years? They knew what they wanted. They needed tweaks. They're probably going to sign one fairly decent-sized player, and that's it. United have got to identify who the manager wants, then start negotiating, and then get them over the line. And there's a lot at play there. You know, that's not as straightforward as, Pep probably knew what was going on with Haaland back at Christmas.
Yeah.
So the fact that they just waited to the end of the season, they go, he's done. And it looks like they've moved quick. But they might have moved slow. It's just that they moved slow 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Well, we had a different man in charge then, and we hadn't agreed who the new guy was going to be, and he didn't know what he needed. And there's an argument to be made, like, us as fans have watched every game this season, and we go, I know what we need and what we don't need. The manager might be, like, with his job career and reputation on the line, being like, I want to get this right. Maybe he needs to look at them in the flesh and have conversations with people before he starts sanctioning all of his budget on 2 or 3 signings.
Yeah.
If he comes in knowing, I want Frenkie De Jong, all right, cool, let's get Frenkie De Jong over the line. Frenkie De Jong's been on international duty. So even though you can do a lot of the legwork with his agent, like you don't sit there with the player playing chess talking about how it's going to work for United. That can be done in a couple of phone calls. Listen, Barcelona don't want you. Are you interested in Manchester United? Let me speak to the manager, see what he says. All right, cool. Let us know when you can ring him. He rings him. He speaks to him. He's like, listen, let's talk to the agent. Now that can go back and forward 55 fucking times to get that sort of stuff correct. Now he's just been released from Netherlands duty. I would expect this to accelerate in the next 7 days if there's a deal to be done. If there's not a deal to be done, which I'd be shocked at, to be honest, because it feels like there's a deal to be done. Barcelona are trying to move him on so they can bring other players in. They love a transfer merry-go-round, one in, one out the door. That's how they roll. If that's what it's going to happen, then it'll happen. But I think there's just there's an impatience. We got our manager. Let's get the players because we know we got. That night follows day. So you've got to go and get the players in, and we've seen players leave. So people just want that fix. Yeah. Where's what's Frenkie De Jong? And as soon as we sign Frenkie De Jong, lunchtime on the day we sign Frenkie De Jong, it'd be like, why haven't we signed anyone else?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it is. It's like a show, isn't it? And you expect this to happen, but like you sort of hinted at it there. Let's actually let Ten Hag make a decision here. Because we don't want to have another Pogba situation where it's a signing that the club wanted, not necessarily the manager. They were working on Pogba before Mourinho arrived. They got it over the line, and look how it's turned out. He's gone now. He's gone to Juventus for free twice.
When Louis van Gaal was here, the club was like, we've made these signings, can you rubber stamp them? And now, in hindsight, I'd have loved Tony Cruz here for the last 8 years. Yeah. How much different could life have been here then? Louis van Gaal got here, and he had a relationship with Tony Cruz, remember, which is an interesting one why he chose to not go with it. So he comes here and he's like, these 3 fine. I can't remember who it was. And I think it might have been Luke Shaw. I can't remember who else. Memphis and somebody else. It was all signed, sorted, done. Prior to him getting it. I think, was Memphis the second season?
No, it was the first one.
Was it? Whatever it was, there was like a handful of signings that were all sorted and he went, yep. Was it Ander Herrera? Would have been Ander Herrera, wouldn't it? I think it might have been Herrera, Shaw, Tony Cruz. Something like that. And he's gone, yep. No to Tony Cruz. And Tony Cruz actually spoke about it in an article later.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
And he's done that. And Louis van Gaal come in, said, no, thank you. But That just shows you how this club was operating. Hopefully it's not still operating like that. But we don't know that United haven't gone to him and been like, we've got a 1994 model left winger here. What do you think of that one? What about an Usman Dembele? We can get one of those for you if you like. And he's come in and been like, no. And that might have been what makes the outside delay. Look, because the club would have lined people up.
Yeah, I know.
Because there was a lot of talk of that already, wasn't there? Who was that? I do remember something of. I can't think what the circumstance of it was. I'm pretty sure there was someone, was it like Ogden or something like that? It's like the club are going to show him the targets that they've been working on. And I was like, why are you working on targets to show the manager?
Just let him, steer that boat. That's his job. Yeah.
And that might have been what the delay is. That might happen all the time. And then the managers are just rubber stamping them so it looks like they're moving quick. But shit, they might have been working on these for 3 months.
Well, he's got to go in there and see which of these players can I improve. Because look, based on what we've just seen last season, that whole starting 11, bar maybe 2 players needs changing. Yeah. Is that going to happen in one transfer window? No. He needs to go in there, look at the players. You can look at them on TV. You can watch games and see the standard of a player. But I guess as a coach, you can only really see what you can do as a coach when you actually work with the player there, when you're with them. Now, he will then identify who can I work with, who might I be able to work with, and who can I not work with. That's when we'll start seeing transfers being made. That's when he'll start thinking, right, I need to replace this, I need to sign this player. Yeah, okay, maybe if the club's got a few options on the go ready for him, it might work out because he might want those players. Yep. But if he doesn't, he doesn't. See, he's gone. But yeah, it's weird because I was chatting to my dad about this last night. He was saying, I'd almost, if we didn't sign anyone this summer, I kind of prefer it. And I was like, why? And he was sort of saying, well, he's got to get in there and sort out this problem of players wanting to be at the club and not wanting to be at the club. Seems like we've signed so many players that kind of want to be at the club, but you don't want players who kind of want to be at the club. No, you want players who want to be at the club. Dalot, for example, he's a good example. This season he's been pretty shocking. But you can just tell that he's got something there about wanting to be there. He's got a bit of grit about him. Same with Fred. These are players who have got low ceilings. But I'd almost rather just have them players for a season, have them players grafting, getting the best out of them. Because I'm sure Ten Hag can get a few more gears out of players like that.
You would rather
and then improve long term
players that are 6 out of 10s than the ones that are going to give you a 10 out of 10 one week and a 3 out of 10 the next, because the frustration kills you with that. Mm-hmm. You're like, mate, I know you're better than this. This is fucking pony that you're serving me up here. Because you need to, there has to be a level of trust between the players and the manager and the players. There has to be a level of trust and there has to be a level of like minimum expected performance. And when you're not hitting the minimum expected performance, that's when people lose their shit. Last season, United didn't hit the minimum expected performance. Got a super chat here. I haven't noticed if there's been, because the comments are on the screen behind here actually, but I'll clock this one. Can you just pull it to the left a little bit because it's behind the camera? Thank you. Liam says, call me a pessimist, but this restructuring with the Glazers still here is like laying new carpets with a house on fire. Nothing will change.
I actually really agree with that, and I really hope it's wrong. But like,
that's why I said, look, I genuinely believe you can be relatively. I don't think you'll be mega successful under the Glazer regime. I don't think that'll happen. I think we were mega successful for one sort of rotation because of Sir Alex and because of the groundwork of that team was laid before the Glazer takeover. The likes of Rooney and Ronaldo and Rio and all of those signings and the Class of 92 lads still being part of it. But I don't think you'll be mega sort of successful while the Glazers are here again, because I don't think there is a desire from them to do that. I think if it costs 400 million to rival City and Liverpool, they'll give you 200 million and say get top 4. The problem is you've got Chelsea's owners, we don't know, I assume we're probably going to want wild success. You've got Liverpool's owners pushing for success. You've got City's owners pushing for success. You've now got the unknown quantity of Newcastle and what the fuck's going on there. You've got Tottenham who look like they're getting their act together. If you only push for top 4 when you've got 4 teams trying to push for success, you're coming 5th at best.
Yeah, I completely agree. Because even when we were successful under the Glazers in the latter years of Ferguson, we were competing against Chelsea, who had all the money they wanted, but they ran in a very strange way. We also were competing with City, who had all the money they wanted, but hadn't quite got to where they are now. The problem now is that you have City, which is, they have all the money, and they ran really well. And like Liverpool, for example, obviously Liverpool have done very, very well the last few years, and they've been able to compete. But they've only won one title out of how many has City won in 5 years? 4.
4 in 5, or 4 in 6 of Pep's reign, I think it is.
So 4 in 5 years, the other team to win were Liverpool.
Anyway.
So it's like, even if we got anywhere near Liverpool, we're still not competing with City. Maybe the odd year, and that's the problem. If we keep the Glazers, if we like literally, we might be a little bit successful, but that's not. It's just not enough. But it's just.
No,
what can we do?
I don't think we'll be long-term successful with them here. So even though I think we might achieve, I mean, even if we did what Liverpool have just done, I'd call that pretty successful. But I don't think you're going to be seeing back-to-back title wins. That's success. What City have done is undeniably successful. Retaining titles is too successful. And I agree. Like it might just be a reshuffling of the cards from the Glazers, and until they change, the grand picture might not change. But it's pretty depressing to just sit here and be like, nothing's going to fucking change. What's the point? Like, we have to live in hope. I'd rather live in hope and be wrong than be negative and pessimistic and right.
You're right. Because, I mean, you are, sometimes you do have to just face the truth, like that super chat. But you got to remember, it's never as good as it seems. It's never as bad as it seems. You got to hold on to that quote and run with it, because, like you said, it'll get pretty depressing. But, like you said, if upstairs appointments are made, shuffled, and the Glazers kind of realise that their backs are against the wall a little bit with fan protest, they might change something. But then even if they don't, I genuinely feel if Ten Hag fails, imagine in 3 years' time he gets sacked. Think of all the protests there's been. It's going to be 5 times worse. It's going to be 10 times worse. They might not be able to survive if this goes wrong this time.
Everybody in the comments that's saying just boycott our sponsors, do this, and like, listen, 2,500 people at least boycotted United in 2005, formed FC United, and a lot of those people never came back. We also, I think I can say it, kind of, like, I was part of the people that were flash mobbing and that sort of stuff at Ladbrokes, at Nike, at AIG.
What's happening at Ladbrokes? Nicking all the pens?
No, basically you just completely fill up the shops. You go in with umbrellas and everything. You just fill up the shops. There was vandalism. I didn't partake or condone the vandalism, but there was vandalism of some of their stores. It just made it very, very difficult and very, very obvious that the Glazers were bad for your health. And those protests were visible, sometimes violent. I mean, there was arrests made at quite a few of these things. The AIG one, I think there was an AIG conference. I think it was at Manchester Art Gallery, I think, off the top of my head, where maybe some people in black coats steamed in, running around the place while AIG was having its like fucking directors conference and fucking told them do not support the Glazers with sponsorship. Now, did that work? Well, no. Nike, Ladbrokes, AIG, no longer partners of United. Did the protest help arrange that? I don't know. Unless they come out with a statement and say, yeah, we're stopping our sponsorship because of X, Y, and Z, then you have no way of knowing. But here's the truth. Those 3 companies that were flash mobbed and targeted no longer sponsor Manchester United. Did it affect the Glazers?
No.
Did those 2,500 fans set up their own football club and never coming back inside Old Trafford affect the Glazers?
Well, no.
Let it fuck.
Clearly not.
There's not enough. Like, the problem is, I know people who haven't gone to the ground since. They'll go to away games, but they don't go in the ground. There's a few of them do it because of the Glazers. They'll go to away games, they'll go to the cup games, but they won't go any games that's in Old Trafford. They haven't stepped foot inside Old Trafford since the Glazers, right?
That's crazy.
17 years of putting themselves through that, and it's mattered not a jot. They don't give a flying fuck. So I see loads of people saying, fuck your season ticket off then. 17 years. I'd have not been going to United games. Mm-hmm. Just because I completely fucking disagree with our ownership. My 700 quid a season doesn't touch the fucking sides. And the same for many other Reds. You know, this is a part of our life. We can't ask us to fucking forego part of our life for this. No, I don't think that's very fucking fair. But I don't know how much the boycotting and the targeting of sponsors or the not buying the shirt. Adidas paid for that shit 2 years ago. They don't care.
The thing is, what was different with these COVID the COVID time protests is that things actually did change. It was only a little change, but we heard from the Glazers for the very first time.
Yeah, nothing's happened since.
I know, but like what I'm trying to say is, say Ten Hag did get sacked and they got even bigger, we might get something else out of them. It's long, blah, 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 but something's changed. Hopefully we don't have to get to that.
Let me get this super chat here real quick. So problem with Ten Hag being the problem, we are slow. Is that
there were loads of reports he wanted signings early. He even asked players to come back 2 weeks early.
Right, okay. That was a really hard to read sentence. I apologise.
Still don't really get it.
All right. Daniel Monks here says that the second place was a COVID fluke. Why does no one say that about Liverpool's title? Which literally had to be extended for 3 months of the season, introduced VAR and fucking 5 substitutes, and no fans was allowed in the stadium. But no one ever brings that up for them, did they? Anyway, here's a word from our favourite ball-shaving device. Summer is coming and the sun is shining, shirts are off and your balls are smooth. You heard that right. Your friends at Manscaped are here to make your beach balls as smooth as Floridian sand. In summer, you want to kill some cold beers and the barbecues and not kill the vibe with your pubes peeping out all over your shorts. And that's why Manscaped has got the Performance Package 4.0 to keep the party in your pants looking crisp and refreshing all summer. Dive headfirst into summer by joining the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get ready for hot guy summer by going to manscaped.com where you can get 20% off and free shipping using the code XG20. I'm going to pull out some more questions. If you've got any questions, throw them in. First name, last name says we need the American Reds to protest over there in front of the Glazers. I mean, they look like they're pretty visible in Florida, don't they?
Who?
Glazers.
They're pretty what? Visible as in about?
Yeah.
Really?
Go and get his car next to him. I mean, I'm not condoning that, obviously. I think that's illegal. But maybe it'd be like that. Morning. Say morning to him. I was going to ring the police and say some guy keeps saying morning to me.
Do it. But yeah, no, that second place. Like, I know we didn't challenge, but we still finished second. Like, don't make it out that we finished like 10th. Do you know what I mean? We finished above the champions, Liverpool, that season. There you go.
Ten Hag will either be a puppet or he'll be gone. I mean, you can say that about a lot of things, really, can't you?
We just got to hope. This guy, he's exciting, he's young, he's a good coach. I'm seeing like little hints of pep in there. Let's just hope he can do something at United. Let's really hope he can. So do you think if De Jong comes in, that'll be like him having one of his own players there, someone he succeeded with at Ajax? Do you think that's going to be a big thing?
Yeah, on multiple levels, because he's a great player. He's exactly what we've just kind of lost in Pogba, or what we thought we had that we lost in Pogba. I mean, we never really fully got what he is out of Pogba.
But yeah, it's a piece of a puzzle, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a piece of a puzzle.
It's someone who you know is an ally. He's walking into a dressing room and he doesn't know if Ronaldo's going to like him. He doesn't know if Ronaldo's going to do what he's told. He doesn't know if you throw a bib at Ronaldo, he throws it back. Like, you have no idea. I mean, I'm sure he's got reports off some of the staff that are there and this, that, and the other, but he technically has no idea what he's walking into. Is this group of players as much of a set of dicks as what they made out to be look like under Rangnick? So if he can bring in someone in there and he'd be like, Frankie, that's not how we did it at Ajax. You know what I'm looking for here. And because then you've got someone on the pitch who'd be like, lads, this doesn't look right. Here's what I would like. This is what it needs to look like. No, you go there and I'll come here. Like, because it's not just one voice saying it then.
Yeah.
Super chat there from Peter. Let's just grab this one. Off topic. Love it. Did I get a chance to listen to that podcast they told me about? No, I haven't listened to it yet. I'll fill everyone in on it. So let me find it. Was it? It was Instagram, I think you sent it, wasn't it? And I said, I am going to listen to it. Right, it was Instagram. So he sent me it's the GAA Catfish on the Two Johnnies podcast, right? And he says, basically, a woman pretends to be multiple different women, starts messaging guys and gets them to meet but never actually does, gets them to meet her friend, but it's actually her. She meets them all the time as the friend, goes around telling everyone she's seeing them. There's stalking, solicitors' letters, all sorts, apparently. It does sound interesting. Fair play. And I'm like, do you know what? Maybe I will have a fucking listen to it. But no, I haven't had a chance at the minute. This week's been fucking loony.
What's that to do with GAA?
I don't know. I haven't listened to the podcast.
I thought you were going to talk about hurling or something. Then.
Yeah, maybe it's involved in that. Maybe they're hurling players. I don't know. Or Gaelic players. I don't have a fucking clue. Eamon O'Brien's dunked in a super chat. Says, use this money to give Andre a job.
Yeah, no idea who Eamon O'Brien is.
Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Maybe he's got to fucking go and dig some holes first. Anthony Jarvis says, Steve and Dre, the Glazers, aren't bothered by the declining profits. They're getting millions and it's not their own money. Why would you give that up? It's literally free cash. Someone, at the end of the day, there's a figure, isn't there, where someone just peels off enough 20s, they'll go, yeah, go on then. So you got to think 4 billion. I mean, what are they taking out in dividends? Like 100 and something million?
What, per season?
Yeah.
At least.
They get 4 billion.
Depends,
Someone puts them,
season.
cashes them out for 4 billion. That's like 40, 50 years worth of dividends. And look at them.
I know.
They don't look like the healthiest specimens that's ever roamed the earth, do they?
No. Thing is, I just feel like you get it for them.
Cash it out and go and get a fucking top of the range Conte 2000 fucking hair transplant and sort your shit.
Yeah, you never have to buy a what's some jiggy ever again, a hairband. But yeah, no, it's like the problem is for the Glazers. This is what I'm imagining. Obviously, they obviously not that into football. Understatement. They own Manchester United. To their mates, to all the people they hang about with, they can be like, oh yeah, we own this like massive football club in England.
Yeah, but if
it's a pride thing to them.
Can you imagine me like, oi, you dickhead, they fucking hate you.
Yeah, well
All
that's the
of them.
thing. It's like, who are they hanging around with? Clearly people who don't like football. Because if they were, people would be like, you do realise they still wear
Get
green
some
and gold.
fucking mates, get a fucking hair transplant and get the fuck out of our club.
I tell you
How
what,
about
if you live in Florida, try and become mates with the Glazers.
there you go, long game.
Exactly. Get in with
Get
them.
yourself a little dog.
Exactly.
Walk your dog outside their house. Morning.
Yeah.
Hey, I see you guys here all the time. What's your name? Oh, my name's fucking Avi or whatever. Is it Avi the one with the ponytail?
Avram.
Yeah.
Joel,
Joel's
Avram.
one who looks semi-normal, isn't he? The other one looks like some sort of fucking creature.
Yeah. Is that his dad or his brother?
I nearly said something so fucking libelous then. And it involved the Liam Neeson series Taken. And I'm not going to say it. But, yeah.
But yeah, become mates with them. Go for a few dog walks
Yeah.
with them.
Just-
Go to their house. Go for a coffee. Have some food. Do you know what I mean? Hang out with them. Go play pool with them. Blah, blah, blah.
just
Next thing you know, just be
slowly.
like, you own United, don't you? I'll be like, yeah. And I'm like, I think you should sell. Why?
They
They
fucking hate you, mate.
hate you. And then you fucking take off your thing if you've got a United shirt on and you're like, please fucking sell the club, please.
See, you're
And he
going
might.
down the trying to persuade him kind of rule. I'm a little more blunt and violent.
Yeah. Well, two of you do. One who's like pretty full on, one who's not.
When the European Super League thing kicked off and Sky sent a lovely lady reporter out there and she did it very professionally and she was like, have you got a quote? Have you got a quote? Have you got a quote? Have you got a quote?
Yeah.
We'd literally, the night before, been going, okay, can we get to Florida and can like me and McCullough doorstep them and do what they did? Because you've seen the views it did. Obviously, it was sensational, wasn't it? But I'd have been like, don't fucking ignore me, prick. Like, it wouldn't have gone down. And I don't reckon Florida's stand your ground rules would have gone in my favour. But, you know, it's one of those.
Did you know where to go?
Yeah. Someone, one of our Florida homies had hooked us up and been like, have a look on this street. There is actually a street, I think, on Google Street Maps. Now, I'm sure the wizards in here will be like, yeah, that's the link. There is literally one of the Glazers outside his house on Google Street Maps. And he blurred his face.
Is he on his bike?
But you know he's got that fucking ponytail, baldy face shit going on. You know it's him. You've just gone, fuck me, that's him. That's him. One of you is going to...
Is he like on a BMX, just doing like circles like on the street? And he
It's
just like
him.
looks up.
It's just fucking him with those little fucking specs on that he's got. It's him. And you go, fuck me, there he is. Yeah.
Yeah, find that. Somewhere in Florida. Someone in the comments will...
Someone did. Someone literally sent us the link and was like, have a look at this. There he is. That's his fucking house. And you look at him as well, you go, there, that is where a billionaire would live. Absolutely.
Fucking go. Well, there you go. Someone get involved.
Stock prices dropped again now, 10.6. I don't think they give a fuck.
No, they don't. But I think, like you said, if someone eventually just goes, look at this figure, you cannot refuse it, they might.
Yeah.
Jim Ratcliffe, if you're watching, please.
Yep. People trying to talk about...
Should we talk about Henderson?
Looks like he's going to Forest on loan, doesn't it?
Yeah, weird one. But, like, it makes sense.
Pie Menace has just said Avram Glazer looks like the butler from Scary Movie 2.
I haven't seen Scary Movie 2.
It's the guy with a strong hand.
Funny. But, yeah, do you think the Henderson move means we're going to sign another keeper?
No.
So who's going to be number 2? Tom Heaton?
Maybe.
It's a bit weird, that, isn't it?
Why?
Well, it's just like...
The guy was a literal good Premier League goalkeeper 12 months
I know, but
ago,
he's gone from being, like, 4th choice...
He was in the England squad as well, not long ago.
...to, like, 2nd choice. I mean, I've got no problem with it. It just doesn't seem something like the club would do. Who would you rather have as our number 1? De Gea or Henderson? And why? The fact you're thinking about it is telling.
Answer, yeah. I think it's a straightforward answer because there's more shot stopping alone. It's De Gea and it's not even close. But that's like 1/6 of what being a goalkeeper is. There's a lot more to it than that.
Exactly. I think there's more. It's less than 1/6. I think it's like 1/10. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And this is the thing. De Gea's always, throughout his whole career, had weaknesses, and they've always been weaknesses. Do you know what I mean? Think of someone like Ronaldo.
Ball playing was better though when he first came. I don't know if it was being coached by Eric Steele rather than the fucking charlatans he's had recently, but he could hit a little nice fucking dink, 25-yard over a press and find someone in midfield. Maybe the options were there in midfield that aren't there now. Maybe you could trust the players a little bit more. But I see him hit those balls out. You see him hit them to Wan-Bissaka, and I'm watching through my fingers. Oh.
I know. And when you've got players like Wan-Bissaka who don't want the ball anyway, it's even worse. Thing is, De Gea's one of those keepers, because he's such a good shot stopper, when we're shit and he's getting peppered, he looks sick. But then when we actually do half decent, like we did the season we finished 2nd, how many mistakes does he make? So many mistakes, and that seems to just be a constant trend. Obviously we won the league with him in goal in 2013, but that was a long time ago. Long time ago. I don't think the club feel like there's no choice but to keep him because of the money he's on. Yeah,
and that's another problem with giving out the wages that we have. Anyway. We could go on all day, and I'm sure we would. Let's end it on this. We've got a super chat there from Manny. He says, if we sign only current or former Ajax players or Dutch players in general, does that mean our scouting department didn't help Ten Hag? Possibly. Or he didn't feel comfortable sanctioning players. I mean, look who we signed last year. I mean, who was scouting us? A fucking 12-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, who did we even sign last year? Ronaldo, Varane, Sancho.
And Tom Heaton.
I mean... That's a weird transfer window.
2 ex-players, the most famous centre-half in the world, and that fella that we've been trying to sign for 2.5 years. I mean, in terms of scouting...
Yeah, I know. Let's just sign all Dutch players. I'm up for it. Or no players.
Trying to think whose phone book that might have been in. Exactly. Anyway, cheers for tuning in, as usual. We'll catch you fuckers in the next one. And Ronnie should be back to tell us about... He was accredited for the England game this week.
What was he doing?
Yeah, he was covering it for the Times.
Fair play.
Of all places. So I'm sure he'll tell us about his adventures. I can't wait to listen to the absolute wibble he brought up in conversation with Henry Winter. Because he's definitely not just had normal conversations with him, has he? Fucking brilliant. Right, catch you fuckers in the next one. Laters.
Real fan ownership, real fan input, real fan change, real fan power. 50 plus 1, we can go better than that. 100 plus none. Download our app, view the free content, read about the club, that's fine. But if you want more, become a member. To vote, to go behind the scenes, to make an impact, interact with a global community around the world, influencing how we grow, where we play, club ethics and values. The more members we have, the faster we grow. Support the club, run the club, own the club. This is ours and no one will take it away. The future is in all our hands.